Hey guys, hey everybody, and today the time has come when finally I am doing the video about the electric vehicle charger. So specifically in my case, I've got this exact model name. So this is the SUN-EVSE22K01 version for EU, which means that it will be going 22 kilowatt three phase or 7 kilowatt single phase. And that's really cool because in my case, I already have prepared like infrastructure. I mean the socket for it. So this is the other part of the socket, but the socket itself is already there, and it has already the 4 millimeter cable, square millimeter cable, and it has already the everything prepared, so it's already wall mounted. I mean, and all I have to do is to connect this to the whole system and to make it running. So what was in the box? The instruction, some kind of wall mounts, the holder, specific holder with the wall mounts itself, the connectioning cable with the joint and the other part of joint, which goes into the charger itself. And the charger itself has got the 5 meter long cable, I believe, with the type 2 output, standard European plug type. And well, to work with the other ones, you will have to use a set of different uh, holders. So I have got those. So please allow me some time because I cannot do this probably, or I can. Oh, I was able. Hold on. Yeah. So these are actually two uh, pieces separate because, well, let me tell you this, guys. So I've got right now the plug-in hybrid electric vehicle, which is Mitsubishi Outlander PHEV 2024, and that one has Type 1. So in order for this unit to work with type 1, of course I need the transferring the transfer socket, so to say. So from type 2, I just connect it here, and then I will be able to plug it into my type 1 outlet of my Mitsubishi Outlander. But in about a month, my Tesla Model 3 will arrive, the one from Copart. That is a little bit damaged, and I will restore it and will run it successfully. That is the lithium phosphate one, the 2024 as well, the Highland version already. And that one has the NACS type of socket. And I mean, that is different. So I have this kind of transmitter which will go from type 1 into the NACS. And maybe I will just should have bought probably the one from type 2 to directly this one. But I mean, why not to use this kind of connection? And I will have this kind of just loner type 1 to type 2 to NACS connector plug, whatever. I will just give it a try. I don't know. I'm the first type user. I haven't been using these kind of things before, so I'm really curious how it works. And well, first of all, we will have to figure out how this unit works. So we see what's in the box. These things are separate. This was not in the box. This even is a different brand. This one has, I don't know whether it has any brand. It just says on the box adapter, right? I will give you the links if you're curious to those various types of adapters, because not every vehicle has, for example, this type 2 socket. It just differs from market to market. It differs from vehicle to vehicle. So whoever, whatever, I don't know which one you may need. So you should just check and which one will fit you for your exact needs. But on this exact thing, this exact charging device, it has only one button, the function button that clicks. Then the LED strip, and then there are some diodes, Wi-Fi, LoRa, normal, and alarm, which means it can work either with Wi-Fi or with a radio signal. And I have already LoRa installed, so I will be trying actually both to show you the difference. So it can work in this mode and in this mode. Some kind of codes, some kind of normal button light, like it's useful, like it's always for the. And I don't know whether it will be lighting or not. We will just have to see. So to actually connect it, I need the socket, and the socket is already mounted, and I need I will take this out because I was using this for the gen, which I am normally not running because I mean, I have got enough solar and wind to cover my needs. And if you are really attentive, so you can clearly see that this is the single phase installation socket, right? And this one is Three-phase installation. So in order to make it work with the one phase, you just have to do this. You just remove or like hide. I don't know. I will just like type it maybe, and use only the L1, the neutral and ground cables to connect everything, and that will be it. And that will be it. Then the joint and then the wall mount. So I will just have to check whether this cable length is enough to the place where I think it will be mounted, because you see, this one has the wall mounts, and this is really handy, I think, so you can make it fully wall mount setup. This is really cool. And then, for example, consider this being a wall. Then, for example, you mount also on the wall this one, and you have a thing hanging on your wall nicely without any mess. Like, of course, you have to, while not using, of course, you have to use the cap cover to protect, right? But overall, you got me. So hanging on the wall, that's it. That's perfect. So let's find the place, a suitable place to actually mount it. And my trouble is that it doesn't have to be on the direct sun. And we have some sun right now. So let's go and check the place where it will sit and live. And we will check all the connections. Let's go. Okay, guys. And well, this is the place where it's going to sit likely. But let's figure out. So here is the drive-in, and the car can easily get into here, and to say either like backsided, whatever. So like no issues with that. The socket sits and lives here. This thing will be made nicely within probably a month. You have seen it probably I have given you this message in the previous video. The granite, that's the cover that it will be very, very, very soon. It will be beautiful. Like, just have to wait. And well, what I measured is 140, 150, and here we have how much? I mean, 140, 150 is the cable length of that total cable length to the exact model. But here from the socket specifically to this one, we have somewhere around 115. So to say, well, it means it allows some room for the bendings, so the cable will not go with extra lines. But let's consider the sun. So right now we are at about 11 a.m. So, and you can clearly see the shades. Here might be a good place actually to mount it directly here, right? No hangings, no overhangs, nothing like this. But just give it 1 more hour and the sun already sits here, right? And well, the trouble is it could go here on this place, like on this of the pillar, on this side of the pillar. But the thing is that give it like 2 more hours and the sun is already there. So my idea is actually to put it on the northern side, on this one, somewhere this place, maybe just not too high, maybe somewhere like here, and to give it a cover with the like metal sheet of metal of that same color. I will have to cut it out or prepare some. Maybe I have already a piece of it, so it will just like give some shade to the electronic model itself. But the cable will be hanging, and the hanger will sit somewhere on this place. The cable and the hanger doesn't really like have troubles with this, or maybe it does. I don't know. Maybe I would just move it here. So let me just do this, and I will check how does it look like. So this place is still dead. Nobody is going to move around here because this place will be sealed, and here I will have to, of course, the bars, the stainless steel bars that will prevent somebody from going in. So this is not walkable area, so the cable can hang here and nobody is going to touch it, so it will be sitting there safely. So yeah, let's actually do the measurements and do the mounting and then set up. This is how it looks in the end, and I'm actually a little bit impressed. I find this kind of thing really, really handy. This is kind of cool. And this is something that I think is okay. Probably, I'm thinking that actually I might need a cover for this one as well. So maybe I will just like do the whole the whole cover of this thing, and it will look like kill two birds with one shot. So who knows? I will just like try it. So let's see. What else? This thing. So it fits nicely, but the only thing that I don't like is actually the thing hanging. This is not okay. But I mean, you have to live with it. There is no other place to hide it. I cannot put it in the garage. The garage doesn't have the sufficient power. I haven't been thinking at that point once it was being built that I will need that kind of power, and I have the power line only here. So that's it. I tried putting it in here. It looks even way worse than this one. So given this is the dead end, as I told you, so this will be having still again the metallic covers here on this side. So maybe I will just adjust it a little bit, so that will be a little bit better. But let's do the technical stuff. Let's give it a try how it works. Okay, guys, and just put on the AC breaker. So of course you have to have the separate AC breaker for it. And I see the normal lights, the Wi-Fi blinks, and this means that I just have to do the setup now with Wi-Fi first, and then with LoRa next. Alarm is off, so this is good. Yeah, let's give it a try. Let's give me the setting. Let me do the settings, and then we will do the test run with the car. Okay, guys, it all works. I haven't even taken off the cover. I probably should do it right now, because who knows, I mean, that's the very first use, you know? Anyways, I'm using the transfer, as I told you, so the type 2 to type 1. And I mean, the car itself is limited to 3.5 kilowatts per hour. It will not go higher, but still, we can test whatever we can test. Tesla will be in about a month, so we can test all the 7 kilowatts there. But I mean, how do you know that this thing works? You see the violet diode strip, LED strip is blinking. Now maybe the sun is it goes on and off once per second. And also the other stuff, the Wi-Fi is blinking once per second. LoRa is blinking a little bit faster. And normal lights constantly. That means that the system is fully okay and fully capable of doing whatever it is. Maybe from this angle it's better, I don't know. Let me try to focus a little bit. Who knows? But let's go and check how does it look on the inverter side. That's interesting. It's not far. It's exactly over here where the main system is, and this is the master. These are the slaves. Okay, and let me explain you briefly about the settings. So, what have I done? Went to the smart devices, added it into here, entered the serial number, and that's what I see. And some kind of schedule exists here, and plug and play mode currently, or time of charge. You can use either one of those, or a free work. Whenever you plug in, it works. Whenever, or if it's toggled off, I mean that will work by schedule. What can you have? You have the specific scenario. So first of all, solar charge only, solar energy only, SOC 95 plus. What does it mean? It literally means that when your battery is 99% charged, then the charger will go on. But once it's going down to 95%, it will switch itself off. So that's literally the way to take only the excess solar that you have and nothing else. Next one is off-grid EV charge off at 30%, right? What does it mean? It means that it will cut itself off. Oh, come on, I actually messed with the jack marks. So this one means that actually it will go off in an off-grid mode once the battery is less than 30%. You can set this value to as much as you like, because I mean, if you don't have any big battery and if you want to prolong the working mode, so you can set it up to 90, for example. So unless you are 90 plus, it will go off. And then the next one, 2 checkboxes: EV charger connected to grid port or to LD port. This literally means that you can use either on-grid connection or on load connection. LD means load. And then the max wattage power, 7 kilowatts. I mean, I can go up to 7.4, I think, kilowatts, something like this. But I mean, the car cannot currently take into more than 3.5. And how can we see this? Is this way. So if I will click on here, if I will click here on the load, you can definitely see that the EV charge power is going into 3.5 kilowatts, and the control power, the max one, is 6.995. That's it. And let's go and check what's going on the other inverters. So it doesn't show anything specifically here because that goes to the master, and it doesn't show anything specifically here because everything is, in my case, shown on the master inverter. That's it. So, I mean, I'm successful with launching this. Just do your math and check everything on your own and see how the thing should work, because it allows you a lot of flexibility aside of like any other standard normal applications, normal chargers that you may find on the market. So what makes it special is the connection to the battery, into the logic, into the state of your whole system. That's what is important, in my opinion. Let me know what do you think in the comments. Okay guys, and let me give you one more quick review of how does it look like from the application side. So I am inside Deye Cloud application in my station. So what do we see here? Right now, top right on the power flow scheme we have on the plant data, because I told you like 3 inverters, right? Literally you can check every inverter and it will like recalculate everything based on the inverter, what is in there. But I mean, seriously, we need the plant data, the whole plant information that is like available at the moment. So we see clearly that there is 3.51 kilowatt in green for EV charger. That's how it works. That's what it shows. That's how it works. That's how it looks like. Specifically, like, and you can clearly see that it exists in the smart home. You can click here on the smart home and then you have all that stuff, everything available, so you can do all the selections that you can, and you can set it up from here. This is really handy, really important, and really like a nice way to check things, to like set stuff or whatever maximum charging power you can set to whatever possible ways as you want. So I like what I did, like the 22 kilowatts divided by 3, that's 3.33 and 5. That's what I currently set, but I mean the car cannot intake more than 3.5 as I told you, so that's the limitation at the moment. I can change from plug and play to time of charge, I can put it on pause, I can suspend, I can cancel, whatever, like anything. So you have the full Wi-Fi control over this, and this is really handy. What else? Now let's check if we have stuff on under the devices section. Yes, we do. Yes, we do. Inverter optimizer, concentrator logger, power optimizers, and EV charger now we have. So we can get into and check all the devices data. Come on. Yes, we have it. We have everything here, like what was set, but also we can do some remote control of it. And I wonder, what do we have here? Let's check. Hold on a sec. I'm not sure I'm here for the first time, like probably many of you guys will be. So let's see, what do we see here? So here are the settings. Yeah, I mean, these are like the very basic settings, and you should just go from the plant stuff, from the main screen, from this one, and then on smart home you should just click on that green EV charger that shows currently in my case 3.51 kilowatts. Then once you click, you get into the much better settings page. That's what is important here, and that's what you should know. So I mean, that was really realistically easy. The only thing that I didn't mention to you, that I had to put it into the pairing mode with the LoRa device, and that was really easily done by switching the power button for 1 second, and that's literally stated in the instructions. So nothing critical, nothing unscenarioed, whatever. Everything went really well and very seamless, no issues with that. So let me know what you think about this stuff in the comments, and see you guys later.